of the Knitted Cupcake podcast. Yay! This is number 2 for December. This is 4 fingers, but there are actually 2 episodes in December, which is much better than my November record, which was nothing. Welcome. My name is Lacey, and I will be your hostess today. I currently reside in beautiful Wenatchee, Washington, and I'm wishing my original setup worked a little bit because I'm actually recording in the daylight today. Woohoo! As it's Saturday afternoon, it's almost 1. But I wanted to get some natural light on my yarn to show off to you guys today, and I'm trying a little something different with my camera settings, so we're gonna see if that works. I'm filming on macro, so I'm wondering if when I hold up things close to the camera that it'll focus in a little better. So we're gonna find out here real quick because I want to kind of try with my mug because I didn't run a test run on this first. So I'm drinking coffee today, the exact same thing I was drinking last week, which is just coffee from my Keurig and 1 drop of peppermint oil, which I learned you need to put it in the bottom of the cup and then brew the coffee over top of it because then it disperses it, because last week it was like, whoo, way too strong. And then a little bit of like, what is it, Belgium style toffee chocolate creamer, some deliciousness. But it is in my lovely Orlando mug. I mean, it is like, what? Hold on, let me check how cold it is in Wenatchee today. A whopping 17 degrees today, and that's as warm as it's gonna get. So, burr. I don't like it. Anyway, welcome. Hi. Channeling warm weather. That's what I was getting with the Orlando mug. Yeah, you can find me. Let's talk about that. Here, got my notes and everything. Wouldn't know it, would you? You can find me on Instagram as the.knitted.cupcake and on Ravelry as WOU Knitter. And yeah, you found me here. So that's about the 3 places you can find me. I'm not all that fantastic at being active on Ravelry. I'm trying to be better, but it's just not going as well as I would hope. But yeah, Instagram, Ravelry. I'd like to have the names consistent between the places. However, somebody already has the Knitted Cupcake. I want to find who that person is and befriend them and then proceed to take their name from them because I need it and I want it. Okay, let's get started. So, I'm starting things off a little different this week because I need a little bit of motivation to do some blocking. I have some objects that have been finished for quite a while now that I have to get done. Well, some of them I have to get done. One of them I really want to get done because I want to wear it Christmas Eve. And sorry, my watch is awesome and I've been sitting here for the last 4 minutes and I've completed my step goal for the hour. I talk with my hands. Anyway, so one object I want to wear for Christmas Eve, and then the other items, there's a bunch of them, I want to add as Christmas gifts. So we'll start with all the little ones. And this is one that I finished last year probably, and it's just a little crocheted snowflake. And this is done out of cotton yarn that's got, you probably won't be able to tell, but it has a little bit of iridescent sparkle to it. And this guy, I don't even know where I got the pattern from or what the pattern is. But I pin it and block it in just starch. I pour some straight up starch, liquid starch, into a measuring cup. I dunk it in there, I squeeze all the extra out, and then I lay it out and pin it out all of my little points. So this is what, again, the finished object will look like. And then this is kind of what they look like right now. Like, not very, I mean, they're just little kind of blob objects right now, but I've got a bunch of them. So I've got, oh, this is a slightly different one. So this year I started to branch out and I found other snowflake patterns that I wanted to try. And so this is another one. And I'm really a firm believer that snowflakes have 6 points. I worked in a 5th grade classroom a couple years ago and they did a whole unit on snowflakes and like emphasize that. So now every snowflake I make has to have 6 points, no more, no less. And if they have more or less, this is a giant one. They're just so hard to see when they're, yeah, they're just blobby, but that's another one. This is another one. I don't know what it even looks like, but it looks horribly funny. Yeah, this is a different one too. I really changed it up. I made all of these back in like October. Here's another one of the giant guys. And I think I have another one of, maybe this one started. I don't know. And that's one of the originals. And then, so those are just cotton yarn. These guys are mohair. This is out of, I think it's Cascade Kidsetta, maybe? Are you gonna focus? I can't tell what it's trying to do here. And it is, again, super hard to tell, but it has a little bit of, it's probably Stellina in there. But I have 5 of these, so I need to make one more. I have someone who wants to buy these from me. So yeah, all of these guys need to get blocked out. I have a bunch of them. And I knit these on just a little, in both the cotton yarn and the mohair on a USD size hook, which is a 3.25 millimeter hook. And yeah, they're much prettier when they're all said and done. The next thing I'm looking at my time here. Okay, we can talk about this real quick. Like this guy, I finished back in August. I did this for the Ravelinics, for the Ravelinic games, and this is the Waiting for Rain shawl by Sylvia McFadden. I have a few things by her now. And this yarn, let me see if I can not dunk this in my coffee. So we're gonna put that way back there. I don't know if you will be able to, yeah, look at that. You see the sparkle? So this yarn is Schmutzerella. I probably butchered that, but I love the name of it. And she's a local dyer on the west side of Washington. I think she's out of Everett maybe. And the pinky red is her spectacular base, which is 75/20 merino nylon and then 5%. And I think this is gold stellina. And the colorway is Lady Mary Crawley. And then the gold is her dude base, which is an 80/20. And it is Matthew. So this is my Downton Abbey shawl. And I love this thing. But as you can tell, I have a million ends that need to get woven. I got up to, let's see here, like all of these stripes are done, but I have to weave in all of this. And this little bob here is all I had left of that gold. And I used just about every ounce of the pinky red too. So yeah, this guy I need to weave in ends, need to sew it up, or weave in ends and then block it out, and then I can, oh, I'm choking myself, but you get the idea. I can wear this on Christmas Eve. I just think it's absolutely stunning. I love it. Did that focus on me again? Yeah, okay. So, I was just saying how I absolutely love this shawl. and I want to wear it Christmas Eve, but I want to talk a little bit about what I named it. In my Ravelry projects page, I named this the Waiting for Mary shawl. Instead of Waiting for Rain. Play on words. And if you've seen Downton Abbey, which I think most people have, we're waiting for Matthew and Mary. And we're really waiting for Mary to figure things out for how many seasons, I can't even remember. But I like this because as I go along, let's take the beast off, there's more and more of that Matthew colorway that kind of interjects himself into this. So I just thought it was a fun play on the name of the pattern and then using the names of the yarn and its inspiration. Yeah, so it just makes me really happy. So that's also going to be part of the blocking party in the next few days, because I leave on Wednesday to go to my parents' house for the holidays. Next up, we've got some FOs. So linking onto I've got my little thermostat behind me and I keep thinking it's my bangs that are like sticking out, but it's not. Hello. I have my Certain Darkness shawl. I had my goal to finish it by the time I podcast next, and you may notice, remember I wanted it done by Wednesday because ooh, that was a big bump, I'm sorry. Earthquake. I saw the shop owner on Wednesday. However, I didn't have time to block this, and so I asked her, I said, hey, do you want me to block it for you? I don't have time to do it before I'm going to see you, or do you want to block it yourself? And so she told me to block it. Dang it, I thought I was going to get out of that. But this is, again, a Sylvia McFadden shawl, and I've got it done. Yay! And all the curly little edges here. I don't know what's all going to be seen well or not. Let's see if I can you see? Can you see the picos? Can you see them? Maybe. But it's another ginormous shawl. I love it. I mean, I'm off screen here. Oh, wait. I mean, it's longer than my wingspan, so. But I really enjoy it. I mean, it's got this cool picot edge that then will run this length. I mean, depending on how you wear it, it'll be the side, and then the random garter ridges. And like I said last time, I didn't enjoy the knitting of it after a certain point, but I love this finished object. I love how that turned out, and I love how I'm fond of the color now. Like I said, I was questioning it, but I've had enough people tell me, oh no, it's good, it's great. So I think I'm gonna keep it. So yeah, it needs to get blocked out. I need these little picot edges. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get those to show really well, but there's a pretty little picot bind off, and I am going to block the snot out of those, I think, really pull them out. Because that's what it looks like in the pattern. They look really super spiky, and it looks super cool. It's feminine, but a little kind of edgy too. So this is my A Certain Darkness shawl. Again, this yarn is Fiber Company in the Meadow Base, which, again, I didn't write it down this morning, but let's look back. Did I write it down last week, or did I just fly off the, yeah, it's Merino Llama Silk and Linen. So beautiful drape. It is warm. The colorway is Lady Slipper. And yeah, so that needs to join in the blocking party as well. But there it is. Done. So see if you can see a good color. Yeah. So there's that. Finished object number 1. Finished object number 2, we'll do this guy, is my, actually no, because I have to turn the page for those. I was stuck in dishcloths. Ta-da! These are all Knit Pick Stitchy. This is my, I want to say my own pattern, but I definitely based it off of a free pattern I got from my yarn shop. But I lost that pattern, so I kind of had to pull it from my brain. And these are all out of Knit Picks Dishy, and I am doing most of these for Christmas presents for my mom and for my boyfriend's mom. And so I think I talked about this last week. My mom loves hand washing dishes. She has a dishwasher, but it's been broken down for a number of years, and she's just realized that hand washing dishes is very therapeutic and cathartic for her. So all the more power to you, Mom. And she can drive 5 hours and do my dishes any day. So for her, she loves these flour sack dish towels, and so I got her just a fun little pattern one for Christmas. And then I have 3 dishcloths that I think will go with it very nicely. Can you get those all in there? So the dark teal is Kanai, I think, and I don't think it's available anymore. This I pulled from Stash. The light green is Honeydew, and then this kind of peachy corally color is called Conch. And then for my boyfriend's mom, I got her a set of dish towels. There's one, and then that's the other one. And so I made her, and I still need to make one more for her, but I have, the green is jalapeno, and the orange I believe is tangerine. And then I'm gonna make her one in silver gray. So it'll kind of be, I don't know how well you'll see that, but that kind of gray color. So they're dish towels and coordinating washcloths. And then I have one more that I made before I bought dishcloths, or the dish towels for my boyfriend's mom, so I didn't know what colors, but this is in mulberry, and that's really blown out. That's really white, or it's a lot lighter. It's a lot darker than the camera is showing it to be. But yeah, so I've finished 6 of them. I can do about one. It takes me about an hour to make one. So yeah, those are those. Just a quick little pattern for it, I guess. If you want me to write it down and post it, I can. But I do, with the Dishy, I use a US 7, which I don't know what that is in millimeters, I'm sorry. US 7, I cast on 35, I knit 7 rows, and then I do a textured rib, which is a knit 1 purl 1 rib for 2 rows, and then garter, just straight knit for 2 rows, and I repeat those 4 rows 11 times, and then I knit 6 rows, garter, and then I bind off on that 7th row so they all match up and even. And then the first 4 stitches, the first and last 4 stitches are garter as well. So again, I can write it down if you want. It's just my simple textured dishcloth, and I think there's a gazillion out there like it. So, and it's really easy to alter and change if you want them bigger, if you want them smaller, if you want to use smaller needles, bigger needles, whatever, it works. So yeah, I feel like I'm flying through this today. This coffee, man, oh man, I've got a lot to talk about, or at least I've got a lot written down, but maybe I'm not expanding on them as much. I don't know, but. So, the next finished object I have is this guy. This is the, oh, why is that weird like that? It's obviously too big for my head because I have a little tiny head, but this is the ribbed watch cap by Church Mouse Yarns and Tees. I really like how this fits. And I made this out of Rowan super fine merino, and oh, that light's gonna do some cool. Look at the decreases. That's probably my favorite part, and that's the whole reason why I picked this cap to make. I love these decreases. Love it. So it's a paid for pattern, but you can tell, maybe, I don't know, I'm not gonna talk too much. It's a tubular cast on, which is super finicky, but I think looks really nice. And then just these, again, I love, you have to kind of blow it out a little bit, but I love the decreases. They are by far my favorite. And yeah, so it's just this giant, long cap, folds up, yada, yada, yada. Nothing too exciting, but the boyfriend did ask me last night if I had it done because I was wanting to work. Oh, I want to not be so dark or bright or light. I don't know. Hi, person. I have a window to my courtyard out here, and there's someone walking through it. He bugged me last night asking if I had his blanket that I started for him done, and if I'm really bad today. I'm looking totally just at the mirror sitting behind the camera and not the camera. Apologies. He asked if I had his blanket done, which I haven't touched that in a month, at least. And he asked if I got his patrol cap done, which I could say yes, I did, because I finished it last night. No. Night before. I am so white today. How do I fix this? How do I remedy this? Do I face this way a little more? Maybe. More white, less white. I am just white and pasty and blown out. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry, but I think it's the best lighting for the yarn. So, ribbed watch cap, church mouse, Rowan Superfine Merino in color black. I forgot if I said that already. But yeah, it's just your basic stocking cap, and I think that it's going to be really nice for his patrol. I'm going to maybe rotate this way. Nope. Nope. I don't know. I don't want to totally close my blinds because I like the natural light. I'm so distracted right now. Let's just have a moment, shall we? I'm gonna need a refill. That's where I was going. Where he lives right now is in Eastern Oregon, and it is today, I think, supposed to only get as warm. I'm gonna check it out because I'm super curious now. Come back here. Oh, I guess that does have it has a high of 20 today, but last night on his way home from work, it was like 6 degrees out, and with a low of -2, which we're both West Side kids, so we don't know what to do with all the cold and all the rain. No, we know what to do with the rain. We don't know what to do with the snow and the cold. It's not our gig, not at all. So this is gonna be really good for him when he's on patrol, I think. And that's 4 minutes of rambling on the same thing because I'm so distracted. So let's get on to my hoe that I have. I'm sorry, guys. I think that's just how this podcast is gonna roll. I am distracted. I am all over the place. I just moved my camera. Sorry. There we go. I have a hoe. That wasn't very sneaky and ta-da! I have my sexy lumberjack sock. Look at that. Look at it. Just look at it, guys. How cool is it? And you know what? I finally realized why she calls it sexy lumberjack. Because you have brown and green for the trees, and then you have the black and the red for the buffalo plaid shirts that lumberjacks wear. It took me until I knit it to figure that one out, guys. I'm smart. This sock is, yeah, that's what I did. Commercial on Spotify, sorry. I did the Susan B. Anthony Smooth Operator sock because I wanted to really try the heel. The new heel, the no pickup afterthought heel. And I don't know, I'm trying to think here. Okay, that's not the side I want to show you because I need to weave in that end. You can kind of see, I feel like I still have a bit of a gap there. Yeah, you can see, I put my thumb over. Yeah, you can see straight through that. What did I do wrong? And then it kind of does this weird point thing from where I Kitchenered it. I don't know. Help me out, guys, because I don't know. I love the sock. I love how it fits. But the heel, I don't know. I think Fish Lips Kiss is just my favorite. Yeah. But I love having this is my first, I will say, my first contrasting, there we go, heel, toe, and cuff. And, oh, I didn't talk about that. So the body of the sock is Haverland Sexy Lumberjack. And then the heel, that's not the heel lacy, that is the cuff. The heel and the toe. La da da, I like this macro setting, I do. Is all done in her Gingerbread Man colorway. And this was yarn that I was gifted with the Get Your Yarn Wish granted. And then I bought a contrasting color for heels, toes, and cuffs. And she sent me two. Again, you can watch my whole last episode and know about it. And one of them was this speckled. And I thought, speckled yarn, self-striping yarn, together in a sock to make a beauty like this? Yes, please. So, first December sock done. And we're not even halfway through the month. No, lies. We are halfway through the month. So, I'll probably today cast on for the second one and get this blasted ribbing done on my little 9-inch circ, because then I can fly through the rest of the sock, especially since I don't have to measure anything anymore. I just go by the stripes. How cool is that? I think the second sock will fly off the needles. So okay, so I did a lot of this. Last week, this is where I was. So I finished up one more stripe. I put in my waste yarn, I knit some, and then I went back and put in the afterthought heel, and then I did a lot in, I think it was like 10 days. So that's pretty cool. I think I've talked about this sock for like 10 minutes now. Sorry. A little long-winded today. And I didn't. I thought I was flying through everything. Okay. Let's go on to whips. So, you've seen all these whips before, except for one of them, which is whips / acquisitions. We'll get to that later. But all of these whips you've seen before. So I probably will go through these pretty quickly because am I in focus? Yeah. Sorry. All of the detailed information is in my last episode or the episode before, but I'll talk about them a little bit. Oh no, sorry, you're gonna shake. The yarn, the camera is on my yarn. There we go. The first one up is my Inglis mitts? I don't know, cable needle. And these are a pattern by Zolda Teague. And I've started the second one. Look at the cables. So I think I am 20 rows into the cable pattern, which, I mean, it's long if you saw the sock. The glove from last week, but this is for the right mitt. Yeah. This yarn is Plymouth Galway sport weight, and the color is number 12, and it's just this really pretty, that's a little more accurate, maybe, I don't know, it's kind of this really cool burgundy, winey, mulberry color. And then I've got my beautiful little, I'll talk about these little guys later, but this is one of my, now that I've got it on macro, maybe you can see that a little better, one of my Be Easy by LB Progress Keepers. I love this one because you can maybe see the iridescence-ness to this piece. It's my favorite. I love this guy. So that's hanging out on these guys. I need to get them done. I don't think I'll get them done by Christmas, which really sucks, but what are you gonna do? I've lost my mojo for gift knitting. I want to do all of the selfish knitting. I want to knit socks, and I want to cast on sweaters, and yeah, gift knitting. I'm over it. Next up is my Fallon Fox cowl. And this is a Heidi May pattern. And it doesn't look like much now, but it's off the needles. This guy has me a little frustrated because I ran out of yarn. So I had to cut it off a few rows. I think I probably would have wanted to do 4 more rows, but I mean, put it on again. I think it will be okay though. So you can get a better idea now that it's off the needles and a little bigger. So I'm going to seam this up until it'll have this cute little point, and then it can hang back and be a little hood. So I guess maybe it's not that bad. Totally just messed up my hair, but that's okay. But the thing is, I ran out of the spice color, which it's a big box store yarn. It's not, at least I didn't think it was going to be that difficult to come by. So when I went back to Joann's yesterday to get another skein of it because I needed to seam it up and I need to do the little ears, they didn't have any, and they didn't even have any. No, they did have a tag on like the empty spot where I was sitting. I should have asked if they had any, but I didn't. So, but they didn't have any on the shelves. And then I went to Hobby Lobby and they didn't have any of that yarn, period. So if I can't find any, I don't want to wait and finish it at home because that's a little too close to Christmas for me. I don't like pushing it that close. I finished washcloths Christmas Eve before and that's stressful enough. I don't want to have to piece things together. So I'm thinking what I may do is this fox is going to have little charcoal ears instead of the spice color because I have a lot of that charcoal left, and I can seam up that hood with the charcoal because it's going to be on the inside, and if you see it, it's still going to coordinate with everything. So I think this little foxy guy is going to have ears that are this charcoal color. Oh no, don't blow out. Come back here. And then the inside will be that creamy color, which I think they call Fisherman. And this again is Lion Brand Thick and Quick. Spice is the main color. Charcoal is that dark gray. And then Fisherman will be the inside of the ears. So he may get done today. We'll see. I have some cleaning I have to do today too. And then editing this, of course. So that'll take me a while. Next up, oh hello, random bit of yarn. This is the yarn that I use as my waist yarn in my Susan B. Anthony sock. These are socks that you've seen, but you haven't seen them since, I think, the episode that I recorded on Halloween. These are my Cable Ship socks by Michelle Hunter. Ooh, I'm digging what I'm doing here. It doesn't look like a whole lot, but there's a heel. And I've started going up the back of the leg, and I have, I think, my first, you can't even see them there. Did I do 2 cables? I thought I did. I think I've cabled twice now, maybe not. But yeah, so these are 2 at a time, obviously, and they are Zauberball in the Oktoberfest colorway. Oh, and this little guy's new. So this is where I was last week when you didn't look at them, but like I said, it was before I started the heel. And this little guy, you see him? Are you too blown out? Too blown out? Too blown out. Now I'm really blown out. Ooh. I heard something. I don't know what I heard. But he's a little cupcake. I made that guy. So, all part of acquisitions too. I went and I made a bunch of progress keepers and stitch markers this week because now that I got some in the mail, I needed to have them on everything. So, yeah, I am officially on clue number 3 of 4 of these socks, my October socks. And ironically enough, I want to say I never want to do a cable sock again. However, talk about this in a little bit. Sarah from Hooks and Books and I are planning and scheming, so never say never, right? But yeah, these are my cable ship, and I like them. They're gonna be warm, they're gonna be cozy, the cables are cool, the colors are neat. Again, I'm just over them. But I need those needles, and I don't want to go buy another pair of needles. There's no need to. Let's finish socks, use those needles. And those are my whips that aren't tied to anything else. So, yeah, we're gonna take a little break. I needed a refill. This is my third cup of coffee today, which means I probably should have made my coffee in the French press this morning, but I didn't think I was gonna want 3 cups of coffee today, but I did, and I do. And hindsight is always 20/20, so there we go. 3 K-cups in the garbage. Oh well. But it's so good. It's so good. Again, my Orlando mug. It's just pretty. I love this mug. A friend of mine got it for me when they went to Orlando. I know I showed it off earlier, but I don't really care. I'm looking outside at snow and 17 degrees, and I want warm weather. Anyway, where were we? Acquisitions, gotcha. Okay, so I briefly mentioned it last week that I had ordered this particular yarn, and I was very excited to get it, and I'm excited that I have it, and I'm excited for what it's creating. However, the yarn itself slightly disappointed me. But I'll show you what it is and then we'll talk about it. I'm still excited by them, okay? Like, still excited. You've been elfed by the Cozy Knitter. Elf socks, come on. Flip back around. And then I have, this is my ugly sweater. And a snowflake. More progress keepers that I made. So let me talk about this. First of all, I love that I have such blatant Christmas socks. Done and done. Loving it so much. However, when I think Christmas, I think, like these socks, I think cherry red. Like that is what I was expecting in these socks. You see the difference? These guys are a little more pink. It's really weird, but they are. And that bummed me out. It was not as red as I wanted it to be, and not as red as what I thought the picture for the listing on Etsy was. And I totally understand. These are all hand dyed, hand done. Like, there's going to be variants. And again, from back here and when they're on my feet, like they're gonna be as Christmas can be. And I that super excites me. And I love how the stripes are matching up. I will say that her striping, as I'm like stretching them so they're not matching, but her stripes match up almost perfectly. They're doing, yeah, and I love how soft the yarn is. I'm knitting these on a size 0 because I think I realized that I need to, if I'm on a 1, I need to go down to at least a 60 stitch sock rather than 64. And I had these available, so I'm keeping my 64 stitches and knitting them on a US 0, which is a 2mm. So yeah, that's my disappointment. I was a little disappointed in the color. I don't know how well you're going to be able to, again, they look a lot more red on the camera, I think, but in real life they're like a strawberry. I just signed that strawberry for all of you that want to know. It reminds me of like a strawberry or a watermelon kind of red, little on the pink side, but they're still really cool and they still scream Christmas, and I still love them. So this is my one yarn acquisition this week, was Cozy Knitter. And I am doing this with, why did I hold that? The button method. So I heard of this from Kay, the Crazy Sock Lady, and I Don't remember who she said she learned that from. I can just pull a random podcaster out of my head and I'll probably lie. So I don't remember who she figured that out from, but she's the one that I learned it from. And every once in a while, have to like kind of twist my sock around, you know, to untwist the yarns, but it's never been too bad or too finicky or too tangled. So, but yeah, and these I'm just doing basic toe up vanilla socks, kind of my recipe. I cast on 24 Judy's Magic cast on, so 12 on each needle. Increase every other round, and then I changed to my main body, and then these are some little green balls. I said balls. I'm a 10-year-old boy. Yeah, and those are living in my Mrs. Brown's bag. Again, macro. I am figuring this podcasting thing out. I'm making the equipment that I have work. My old camera, my old computer. So that was the first acquisition. The second acquisition is, you've seen a few of them, are my little stitch markers, but I want to, or my progress keepers. I'm gonna go get it really fast because, I don't know, can you see my LuLaRoe leggings? I am totally sporting tons of LuLaRoe today. I hosted a party last weekend, and so I got some free gear, and I'm wearing a Randy, and then I've got really wild and crazy, look at these pants. Anyway, I guess that's another acquisition, but not knitting related. So these are just more little stitch markers. I have a little I love you hand, which, yeah, I'm a sign language interpreter. How could I not get that one? And then I got this guy in anticipation for my Beyond the Wall socks. It's a little wolf. I'm calling him my dire wolf. And then you saw my snowflake, you saw my sweater, you saw my cupcake. Okay, these guys I found on clearance, and they were just too funny not to get. So this one, these were a set. This one I turned into a progress keeper, and it's the zombie survival guide. And then he came with a brain, and he's heavy, so I just turned him into a stitch marker because I didn't want something that heavy hanging off my work. But I have a brain and I have a zombie survival guide, and they crack me up. And then I bought a set, and I gifted 6 of these, but these were just 12. I don't know if that's gonna focus. They're little Aurora Borealis gems that I turned into stitch markers, and those are I have them on my English mitts right now. But yeah, they're just pretty and sparkly, and I'm completely addicted to progress keepers now, and I want them all of them. Okay. Next up. Ooh, okay, these are really fun. I'm gonna take my watch off because I want to show them off. These I got with from my Knit Night Christmas party. And we do it white elephant style, but you know, nice gifts, not really horribly cheesy ones. And I, with no regrets and no apologies, stole them. Look at these. These are, you probably recognize the pattern. What are they? Susie's? Yeah, Susie's reading mitts. And do you see how fluffy this yarn is, guys? Look at that. Look at the fluff. I wish you could like reach through the camera and feel these, because they are, oh, they're nice, guys. They're so nice. And now I have to tell you why I stole them. It's because of this. Is what I was wearing that night. And this is I do like this hat. This is the Cashmere Beret from Church Mouse, and I made this out of Lotus Yarns Mimi, which at the time was said to be 100% mink, which then later the Lotus people found out that it actually didn't have any mink in it at all. So I held that double with Cascade Kids Seta, which is merino, silk, and something else. I don't remember now. But it's, yeah. So it's just, again, it's got a lovely halo to it, just fluffy goodness. And I had to steal it because look at how nice they match. So yeah, I had to steal them. I couldn't, one of the other, let's see if I can get that to change, there we go. One of the ladies there, so after I stole it, again, I'm wearing my hat, we're at dinner, it's lovely, it's cozy, it's comfy, and people have already commented on how they matched, they went so well together, and so I stole them, and one of the other ladies that I knit with, she came up and kind of picked them up and tried them on, and then promptly plunked her hand on top of my head and went, yeah, they just match too nicely. So I got to keep them, and my hands are starting to sweat because they're so warm. I didn't talk about what these are made out of. These are 50%, I think it's merino, and 50% Angora. I mean, this is such a luxury little set that I have now, and I've never been one to be matchy-matchy with hats and gloves and scarves, and I need everything to match. In fact, I've always kind of, as my mom says, march to the beat of my own drum when it comes to my style. Which is true. I mean, I showed you my pants. That's so awkward. They just, yeah, they're just soft and fluffy and halo-y and squishy and luxurious and creamy and no shame in stealing. No shame at all. It was too nice anyway. No, I think I was the very first person to steal, and I was number 12. So I started the stealing, and I love it. So yeah, these were, I'm gonna call them an acquisition because I didn't have to make them. I started a pair. What's funny is I have a single mitt of these, and if you've knit these, you know that for that little picot edge, you have to fold it down and sew it. It makes things, it doesn't stretch. I mean, yeah, and I did these with a sock yarn held double with something that was mostly silk, I think, so it really had no give, and it is so tight on my hand, like I couldn't open my fingers really, and it just wasn't comfortable. So that I think is hanging around somewhere in my stash. But so now I have a very beautiful, luxurious pair that I didn't have to make. And I'm okay with that. So the final little, oh, I made that beret back in March of 2015, and Wednesday night was the first night that I actually wore it. How funny is that? Less funny when you know that it sat in the yarn shop for like a year and a half. But I didn't ever grab it last winter to wear, so yeah. Okay, so this is another thing. This is my final little acquisition. I think I talked about it briefly last week. I mentioned, you know, this is a knitting podcast, a little crochet here and there, and one day sewing. Well, I had this sudden urge last night to stop all of my knitting and hook up this 40-year-old sewing machine that probably hasn't been touched in 20 years and sew with it. I thought better. I did hook it up, and the light on it still works. How cool is that? And I'd show you, but it is, I mean, it is metal, it is heavy, it is bulky, and things move, but it definitely needs a cleaning and an oiling. And we have a few sewing machine places here in town that I think I'll take it into and let the professionals do their job before I try and create things on it. But when I was at Joann's and very disappointed that I didn't find that spice colored yarn for that fox cowl, I then decided I'm gonna buy fabric. So I bought a few fat quarters because I want to make project bags. And so this guy, actually this will be the outside, and then this one will be the inside of the bag, which I love this fabric. Are you kidding me? I have an affinity for what I call the ugly colors, and the gold and the orange all together, it's ugly and it's so good. So what I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna be really impatient, I'm gonna actually take these home with me and try to make them over Christmas using my mom's sewing machine, just to see if I can actually make these project bags. And so for this guy, I can make that work. I got a zipper, and I think this one is, the color of this one is called Tango. Yeah, and it's just the old school classic. I think it's a Coats brand. I'm new to this whole sewing thing, so I was running around doing it. I was like, I don't know what to do. But it's just the Coats brand zipper. This one's in the color Tango. And then of course I couldn't buy things for just one bag. I had to buy things for 2 bags. So this is bag number 2, and I'm gonna have the owls on the outside and then the lime green polka dots on the inside. And then I got this, it's not gonna come out very well, blue zipper, because I thought it would just be a fun little contrast. So we're gonna give sewing a shot, guys, and I really hope it works out, because I want all of the project bags, and I can't afford to buy all of the project bags, so I'm gonna start making them. And again, this one is rocket blue. So yeah, that's that. And that's kind of the wrap up of today. Thanks for hanging out with me. It's a decent length, not quite as long as last week, I don't think, just because I didn't ramble. Oh, I'm gonna ramble a little bit. So Sarah from Hooks and Bucks, the awesome Sarah who gifted me the awesome Lolo Did It in the Hello Gorgeous colorway, messaged me last night, 2 nights? Yeah, last night, and brought up the rose hips socks knit along. And I think we're gonna do it, guys. We won't start it. I need to get some projects off my needles, because I don't want to buy another set of needles. So I think, oh, the heater is blowing right on me, so toasty. I think we'll start that mid-January. So stay tuned, join my Ravelry group, join her Ravelry group, and we will definitely keep you posted on when that's gonna happen. But I think we're gonna do it, because I have the yarn, and I'm sure she has the yarn, considering she messaged me last night and was, oh my god, we need to do this. So I think it's gonna happen. Our first knit along. I'm so excited. And then I brought up to her, and I don't know if she wants to do this with me or if it'll be something I just do myself, if I even do it, but oh, I have to look it up now, because interesting. Missed call and voicemail. My phone is on Do Not Disturb, so that I didn't notice it. Okay, I earlier this week partook in a little Instagram giveaway. Unfortunately, I did not win, but fortunately, how cool, the designer, and I doubt this is even gonna show up, is Alley Cat Knits Co. on Instagram, and this is the Peyton shawl. I don't know how well you're gonna see that, but she offered the people who entered her giveaway $1 off her pattern, and so I got it for $5 instead of $6, and it is this gigantic worsted weight squishy shawl. And with how cold it's been here, that's all I want. I want this giant, I don't have big giant shawl like that, so I may do that as a knit along, we'll see. But stay tuned. I'll have more news on that as I know what's going on. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thanks for joining me. I doubt I'll be able to podcast again before Christmas. Maybe between Christmas and New Year's, we'll see. But if I don't see you, have a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year, and enjoy your family time. Whatever holiday you celebrate this time of year, enjoy it. Just enjoy your time with your family. Thanks for joining me today. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment if you have questions, and I'll see you next time. Happy knitting!